Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about, oh, where
And
are we?
we are live.
Are we live?
We go live in a hurry on stream there.
So this is not like Memorex. I'm used to seeing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I know.
Even God, what is it? The screen capture software.
Oh, Camtasia.
Camtasia, yeah, gives you a countdown.
Gives you a countdown.
Yeah, most of them do.
They do. They do. So today we're going to talk about habits for working
Habits?
from home.
I've never been a nun, so I never wore a habit.
Oh, well, there you go. No, but we're talking about habits from working from home.
Oh, yeah, working from home. I don't wear a habit when you're working from home unless you are a sister.
Yes, that's probably a good tip.
That's a good tip. There's a few cross-dressers out there.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Hey, so
somebody loves us. We got a heart. Somebody
you got a heart?
Oh,
wow. That's probably the most feedback we've had in a while.
Right away. Because it's your sister. It's your sister.
It's my sister. She always gives out hearts.
It's my cat.
There's your cat. Oh, she'll love that too. She'll give out more hearts.
That's always got to be part of the show.
It's like the cat. Cat in the hat. Hey, I got to share a little bit here. So
go ahead. Share.
I got to go sharing.
Oh, you got to go
sharing.
You got to go share. Share is good. Yeah, I should do that too. Let me share quickly with Troy's group.
Sharing is caring. Yeah, we should really announce these things in advance. In fact,
some of we can, and some of it's a little more difficult to announce in advance. So
I'll trust you. Oh, you're on your profile. Okay.
Makes it a little tricky. But so we were going to talk about good habits for working from home today.
Yeah, for people who've never done that.
Good idea, because more people are working from home than ever right now.
That's for sure.
And it can be a little challenging, with you might have your children at home, you may have all kinds of stuff going on. It's it can be a challenge.
Hey, Troy McDonald just yo'd us. Not Yoda.
Yo.
He said yo.
Yo. Share to group. So that's what I'm doing right now, is sharing to Troy McDonald's group.
I'm sharing to my Dr. Vogelman page.
That's cool. Yeah. So what are your top tips for people working from home right now?
I would say number one, the hardest thing for me has always been getting into a routine, and to the point where I think what I'm recognizing is the times when I used to have an office outside of the house. I'd get up in the morning, I would shower, shave, have my breakfast and everything, and then get ready to go to work. And so keeping some sort of a ritual or routine as if you are leaving the house, even though you may only have a 30-second or a 3-minute commute. Well, 3 minutes, you must be really distracted if it takes you 3 minutes to get to your office. I think that's really, really important, having that sense of ritual, routine, and then, of course, an actual schedule. Yeah. And there are plenty of interruptions when you're working from home. Case in point, now that we have our 12-year-old not going to school, but instead being assigned homeschooling, that becomes very challenging too, particularly if there are questions or concerns or there's bandwidth issues because the school is doing Zoom, for example, nowadays. And so we are sometimes competing with bandwidth, not for video games or streaming Netflix, but for the school streaming, which is something we just haven't had before. Yeah. And so what has entered into the mix, because my wife and I have worked from home for many years. I think she's worked for 10 years from home. And I've probably worked about, I want to say 7 years now from home, even though I moved out here to California about 5.5 years ago. And I think that it's a lot easier when you are in your routine. And the real question is how good at you are adapting to the changing circumstances. Now, with our new normal, our new reality, comes a series of adaptations that we have to make in order to make the homeschooling work, our work schedule work, and at the same time, be able to be productive enough to crank out digital courses or services for our digital agency, for example. My wife and I actually have to schedule meetings. I kid you not, we're in the same house, but we work on opposite ends of the house. And that's another thing I would like to suggest to people. Having a designated workspace, if you can, is one of the most important things, because when I sit down in my little office here, I am in work mode. If I start getting lazy and I want to look at stuff or surf the net or something like that, I will actually move my computer out or I will switch over to my phone, and then we'll head out to a different location in the house. So anchoring your beliefs and your thought process to a specific physical location is one of the most important things that I have found.
I agree. So two things. So there's a lot of people joining us today. And if
Cool.
you want to join, I posted the link. If you'd like to come in and talk to Dr. V and I, feel free to click on that. I want to give a shout out to my friend Peter Melton. Man, I haven't seen you in a long time, Peter. Great to see you pop by here. And I was going to give you my tip. So my tip is I start out very, very early in the morning. And I found that if I go through my regular daily ritual, I get off to a very good start. And my daily ritual includes meditation, some study work. I'll do a little educational thing in the morning, get my exercise in. I do like all of this stuff first thing in the morning, and I find I just get off to a great day. And I used to work out with one of the owners of the club where my wife used to work as a massage therapist when she first started in her practice. And one of the most brilliant things he said to me, he said, if I don't get started with my exercise like first thing in the day, he's like, I find my whole day is off.
Yeah.
And I find that that's true with a whole morning ritual. If you just start out with good stuff and get off to that great start, it's like your whole day goes so much better. And so you just got to
did you actually send that link in here? Because I can't find it.
I did, and I'll post it up again.
Huh. I have to refresh your page, I guess, to find it.
I did indeed. It may not be on my regular page.
Ah, that could be it. Are you broadcasting from your personal or your business?
I am broadcasting on my personal, my business page. Sometimes it does not stick on my regular page.
Yeah, it's not sticking.
So
if you can send it to me here in our
even
section.
better. I will do that.
Because I can't do it because I'm not in control. I'm not in control.
I know, and you're the kind of guy that doesn't like not being in control.
I do not. I prefer being a driver than a passenger. Although I will say, being a passenger occasionally allows me to see all kinds of things that I've never noticed before, even in my same neighborhood.
I posted it on mine, and I will give you the link so you can post it.
Give it to me.
Give it to me.
Oh, there it is. I saw it. It now appeared on your page. That's weird.
Oh, I just put it over there.
All right. Yeah, it didn't appear before. So let me copy, and then anybody who wants to come in can join us, and we can chat about what they do.
Joining us. Oh, maybe.
Come join.
Maybe with no mic or anything.
Well, do American Sign Language. See how good we are at recognizing that. the only thing I remember from one of my patients who is deaf, she taught me the one which is this. This is the sign for frustration. I always remember this one.
I'll give Michelle a chance to get squared away over here.
Yeah.
At Oneida Shores Park.
Oh, that's perfect. She's going to have the wilderness like you like to broadcast from.
Yeah, I love doing that. I love doing outdoor broadcasting and stuff.
Do you get enough bandwidth in your woodsy life or no?
Now that's another good tip. So another tip that I found is my isolated places. I have a little office in my house.
Yeah.
I also have my mobile office, so I can go outside and work in our RV at any time I want.
The mobile office.
In my RV, I have a mobile hotspot that I carry around with me.
Gotcha. I used to have one of those.
And it works great. Yeah, I'm hoping it'll get even better because the hotspot I have is from the Family Motor Coach Association, and it's a Sprint. And now that Sprint combined with T-Mobile, I'm hoping that I'll have a lot more area coverage, which would be great.
You would hope.
We would hope. We would hope. Hey, so I'm seeing your sister. We'll go see her. Oh, look at this. Man, she's like right out there. Look at you.
Where is she? I missed her because I was sharing the link. Well, she is out there.
At Joyce Park. She wasn't
showing off. She's showing off the clouds.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Look at you out there.
Nice.
Very nice.
Do you have sound, Michelle? No sound.
Yeah, unmute.
She needs to be unmuted or unmute herself. I don't know. She only had a picture.
It's a good thing we do kind of understand sign language.
No sound. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like no parking.
No
Yield.
parking,
Stop.
there.
Stop.
What's that? Oh, it's your dog.
It's lovely. That's Mufasa. Mufasa is a rescue dog from Texas, and so my sister does a lot of volunteering at a shelter, a rescue place, and this dog was rescued from a kill shelter and has been a very good puppy ever since she got him a couple of years ago. So
pets are helpful to your work routine.
Yeah, I mean they probably wake you up at 5:30 or something when you really want to get up at 7.
My cat gets me up in the morning, and then he likes to take a little break with me. And
your cat takes a break. You both napping at the same time.
Taking your regular hike and stuff is always a good idea. So
Michelle is showing all this stuff, but she's on her walk, but she has no sound. She's waving, but she has no sound.
Well, at least we get to see you.
She can't hear you. Okay, well, thanks for letting us see her. It looks like it's windy there. You said it was about 50-mile-an-hour winds where you are. It looks like the same there for her.
It's really windy where I am.
Wow, she's got the vintage.
Yeah, I can't unmute her at all.
No, she has no sound.
Yeah, just for some reason you don't have any sound. So sad.
Oh well.
I don't know.
Thanks for stopping by, Michelle.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It's nice to see that you can actually bring somebody in on StreamYard.
By the way,
that's my sister.
The sister.
Yes, I'm the infamous Dr. Vogelman.
Super cool.
Hey, so that was great. So we got to look, and it is apparently very windy in Syracuse right now.
It's like it is here, man.
Not just in New Hampshire.
You should see it outside. It's wicked.
Wicked. Awesome. It's a wicked storm.
Somebody said we were supposed to have like 70-mile-an-hour winds tonight.
I believe it. We had
50 now. It's pretty.
The weather that you are now experiencing was ours several days ago. So you're welcome.
The house is going to blow down. It's so bad.
You're welcome.
I'm surprised you can't hear it. Oh, she wants to try again.
She wants to try again. Does she have sound? Well, try again.
I don't know. I'm not seeing her picture either.
And she has no picture.
Oh, we'll give her another shot. No, I'm seeing
picture within picture. Now she probably has no picture, but maybe she has sound. No. Neither picture nor sound.
What do you think? Can you talk?
Can we talk?
Nope.
She has no sound. Vogue.
Oh well.
Vogue.
It
was worth a shot. So one of these days we'll be. But I do thank her for her courage to come on, even though she's outside and it looks like she's about to blow over.
It is courageous. Yeah, I wouldn't even try it out here today. I mean, number one, you'd need like a full rain suit, and then I think you'd be like, straight out.
Straight out, yeah.
Or tree or something.
Hey, so back to our habits of working from home.
Yeah, our habits of working from home.
So turning off things is one of the things that I've done. For example, I have almost zero notifications on my iPhone anymore, for the specific reason that I do not want to know who's liking me on Instagram or Facebook, or even sending me messages on Facebook Messenger. Texts is a problem, but I'll turn the sound off on my phone. And then later at a specific time, we'll go over there and look. Now, that may drive my wife crazy because I may not respond to her messages, even though she's in an office on the other side of the house. But the funny thing about having physical separation is that when you do have a designated office space and there's sufficient separation, it's as if you're not at home, since we're both working from home. And so it's very interesting. So we call for a lunch meeting as if we were at an office someplace, and then we were meeting up in a local cafe.
That's cool.
It is, because sometimes at the end of the day, it's like, I haven't seen you all day. What's been going on? So
I know we feel like that a lot of times.
Yeah, that is helpful a lot.
All right, she's trying again.
She's gonna try. If at first you don't, it's probably gonna win.
What do you think?
She has no sound. Hi.
Well, no sound.
We can't hear you. Nope.
That's so funny. Oh well. She's trying hard though. I got to get.
She is trying hard. I mean, and it gives you a sense of what the outside world is like. I think the sound would probably be just blasting us.
I don't think we'd be able to hear her anyways.
We wouldn't hear her. I think she needs earbuds probably too, because that would give a little bit of shielding from the wind.
So the other thing I find helpful too is lots of people will use timers or time doctor,
like
or
the Pomodoro.
like that, to keep track of what they're doing and how they're allotting their time. So they make sure that they're actually utilizing it in a very efficient way.
Yeah, because it's easy. It's easy for me to get sucked down into it, the Twitterverse, into a rabbit hole.
Well, this guy,
Hey,
Troy McDonald, what's happening?
Troy McDonald is here.
He's
Yeah,
a regular worker.
I figured I'd come on and tell you my work.
Yes.
I want to hear.
Do you
Bring
work?
it. Bring it.
Well, you know, little here, little there. And I feel bad for your sister. She was trying so hard.
She was, and I've got to admire her persistence. So,
She's back again.
she's my persister.
She's back.
Wow, there you go.
What happened?
Hello?
Oh, you've got sound. You fixed it.
Hello?
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh my gosh, you can hear me.
We
Finally.
can.
Oh, good. Well, I didn't want to give up. I want to keep trying.
This is
I like
why.
persistence.
This is why the people. So many years
I
ago.
figured it out.
Many years
You
ago,
must
my
be
sister.
proud of me.
I am proud of you because many years ago, my sister actually was
Can't
in
hear you
Anchorage.
now.
Oh, she can't hear us, but she was in Anchorage, Alaska. She was in Anchorage, Alaska, and she worked as she used to work in Syracuse, in Buffalo I guess it was U.S. Airways, and there were no jobs at United Airlines in Anchorage, Alaska. But she kept persisting, going to every single station manager once a month for probably 7 months or something like that, until such time as the United Airlines station manager just said,
Hello?
"I'm just going to hire you. I'm just going to hire you because I don't want you to
Hello?
bother me anymore." Yes, you can't hear us.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, but
You can?
you can't hear us.
Yay!
The fact that you can't hear us is a yay.
I can't hear
Small,
Chris.
small wins for some people.
Oh,
Yes,
now I hear you.
She's been listening to me
Oh, now
for
she
way
hears
too
you.
many years. Oh, okay.
So go ahead, Troy. You had a tip to say.
Yeah, please give us a tip.
Well, I personally am a late night guy.
She's calling the dog. I think you may need to mute her.
I did.
Okay, good.
It looked like she fell or something. I don't know.
Chasing. She's running after the dog.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm a late night person. So it's interesting to hear, everybody's saying, I get up and I do my best work from like 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I'm like, my brain doesn't kick on until about noon if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
So, I do a lot of things at night. I think that's the point is you got to find like when you are in a zone.
Yeah.
And and your brain just really fires best, it fires off best. And to do that, because I know like a lot of people have told me like, oh, well, you just need XYZ, whatever, to be able to work in the morning time. And it just, for me, I mean, I've been like this forever. And there's cases where, I have to rearrange my schedule to, accommodate certain things, and that's fine. But my normal in the zone is definitely, here we go with cat attack. But I found what works best for me and when I'm in the zone, and that's when I just get work done. And so, yeah, maybe I'll have to fire off some emails or different, messages to people, when they're sleeping, and I know I'll get, they'll see it when they're at their time, and then they'll get back to me. But it's just when I'm more in the zone, I don't want to follow somebody else's formula just because they think I should work that way or whatever. But
yeah, I used to say that if you don't should on me, I won't should on you.
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean, I think, the funny thing is I used to be very much of a night owl, late night person, and got my best work done between maybe 11 p.m. and 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then I switched over to mornings, which helped a little bit, but my mornings, I don't really get cranking until, 10 o'clock still to this day. But I can get like there's two 2-hour periods that still work for me. And that's like 9 to 11 and probably, I would say 10 till midnight. So it's probably, I've got 2 little windows where I can actually get something done.
I also think that, when you're really trying to hustle on something, like really get something put together, then you got to do whatever it takes.
Oh, yeah. Then I go into a manic creative mode, and I can go for like 72 hours on very little sleep, just trying to crank out as much as I can.
Yeah. And even the same thing like this, like, if I have to get up, say, for a live stream or some kind of thing like that, or some interview or whatever, and I may get a few hours sleep. Well, I mean, I just plan accordingly. You know what I mean? It's just, you just got to do what you got to do. And I know like people, a lot of us online entrepreneurs talk about having like the ideal lifestyle. And I think that's what you work to, but you have to do what you have to do to make it work. So there is a lot of hustle in the beginning. Like, for example, right now with me building out the live event marketers group, I am doing a lot of stuff from, the moment that I get up to when I go to bed to build the group. At the same time, I've had some people were like, hey, let's do a live stream about it and that kind of thing. And, they're the morning schedule. So I just got to do what I got to do. Understanding that at some point too, that, then I'll get that into my schedule, because the group will be built to a point where it's, so it's already, so it's sustaining itself right now in the sense that it's bringing in new people on its own, from people referring other people. At the same time, I don't feel it's enough there. I'm just gonna now it's all hands off. So, I never take any of my projects that are still in the kind of baby phase until they're, for me, just personally for me, almost like, a young adult or something. You know what I mean? I never.
And you have to nurture. Yeah, you've got to nurture that group, do some hand holding. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like how I like to work on things. Like to you have to build them. And I mean, I've been around long enough to where you can kind of get that feel. And sometimes it's, you're wrong, but I have a pretty good intuition when you can kind of let something kind of now go and be on its own, so to speak. However, there's always that, coming back and needing to do some either maintenance or updates to it. That same thing with like a product. You don't want to just have a product. And although it's evergreen, there are things that you can add into, update, or adjust for the times. So, for example, I'm sure there's people that got some products right now that they've been selling for some time that they could go in with this because of this virus time. What is it that people need to know for what your product is teaching,
right?
For any time in the future that's like this, that would be good for them to learn how they can use your product or your information, your service. You can teach them about that, how to use it in a time like this, because this is probably not going to be the only time that we're going to have something like this. I mean, it could be, another year before we have something else, or it could be another decade, who knows, or another 100 years, whatever. But
yeah, sometimes I think we're in another like 5 to 10 year frame after this one's over, and something's going to come out. So
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either.
Be prepared. The Boy Scout in me still wants to be prepared.
I unmuted your sister. I'm not sure how it's going to work out.
well, you're doing this without a net. So.
I am doing this without a net. I'm just.
Well, she has gone dark apparently. So
because it's funny on StreamYard, I can see what she's doing.
I didn't realize the sun went down so quickly in Syracuse.
I think what she was trying to do is she was trying to unmute, and then she cut her own
self
picture off.
Hey, I think
somebody I couldn't quite bring her back, and I wasn't quite sure I wanted to yet.
I'm so impressed because she is significantly technologically challenged, and her bravery is amazing to me. So
it has been noted. It has been noted.
Well, actually, there are a lot of people that have never done anything, either attending a live or going live. In fact, my wife is on her very first live stream right now, and she's actually attending. It's about writing novels, and she's been working on one for a while, but she's never been on a live stream. And I think it's going to be like a set of 4. But like I found it, as I'm looking for various different live streams to also announce in the group, and I just fired it off to her, and so she's on her first attendee.
That's
one of
great.
So.
Yeah, my sister had never done a live until John's 30-day live video challenge. She just popped in, and I thought that was just amazing to me.
Very brave of her.
Yeah, because there's so many internet marketers and business people who would never consider doing anything like that. But I think it helps that she had more than 30 years or 35 years of customer service in the airlines. So she'll talk to anybody, but it's just a question of getting her to press the right button.
That's the way I am too.
Yeah.
But I say, that's the thing too. Like, we all want things to be perfect for the most part when we do stuff, or some degree of perfectionism. But that's how I started even doing the lives in my group, was like, you know what, I've got Be Live and whatnot. So I'm just, hitting the button, and if it crashes, it crashes, which, I mean, it didn't, what I mean by crash is that if I mess up, the whole thing just goes
Right.
to pot, right? But you know, and I've even tried some of my live group updates, and I try to, you know, do it like I set it in Facebook for the time I'm going to go live, and then be live with to connect with it, whatever. And I didn't get it fully correct, and I even did the one where I didn't realize I had my mic, you know, off at that one time and stuff. But hey, then you just got to keep rolling. But
Yeah.
I think as a marketer as well, you really do have to have, even though you're, you know, regardless of how big your name is, I think it's good to show people. Well, I mean, not you're intentionally showing them, but you have errors, and it's okay to have errors.
Yeah.
Because
And that's how you're going to learn.
yeah,
Make it human too on top of it.
exactly. That's the human part. And you don't want people to think that they have to, because when they see your stuff all polished, it always seems like, I don't feel that way with their product. So their product could be good, and it could be quite polished and everything. But if in their perception, in their mind, it's not up to the par that they see in yours or somebody else's, then it holds them back. And
Exactly.
so I think it's fair to just, you know, be you and have some goof ups or whatever. So
Yeah, because if you're too slick, you're not going to. I was going to say turn a trick, but we're not into prostitution. So anyway, so I'm not.
I mean, honestly, even today, like I haven't even really shaved. I sort of barely did my hair, you know, and I'm like, and then I saw you guys, you know, coming on, so I thought I'll just jump on, you know what I mean? So
And we do appreciate that.
I didn't get a chance to do my hair either.
well,
That's all right.
But
you already pre-did or pre-done.
with the chia pet, it requires water on top.
Yeah. I love what Terry Thompson says here. She says going live is a great for unexpected prospecting. So true.
That actually is true. People have suddenly appeared in lives that I would never expect.
Like Troy McDonald guy over here.
Well, like
What?
this guy over here was in Eric
Yeah.
Louviere's live.
Right.
I got to get used to this.
Actually, I wasn't in Eric Louviere's live.
Where were you?
I answered.
Oh,
a
you
question
answered
for
a comment.
live, and that's how.
Oh, so you were dead to me. So you were dead to me, actually.
Yeah, I was set up. So
When was Eric's thing?
It's a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a more recent one because I was going to go pound him.
Oh, Eric was on with us one night more recently. We were talking about baseball and the Red
he popped in for the 30-minute Eric Louviere sports.
about a half an hour.
moment.
We were talking about sports and that
The
was
sports
great.
update.
Yeah.
And now it's sports.
But that's the great thing, you know. Not everybody wants the conversation to be entirely on marketing all the time. We have other parts of our lives too. It's not just about business every day. Although, you know, I know, right?
Yeah, you can. That's the thing. Like all of us, you know, we're in this zone. Like I want to know a specific thing today, and I know like this person has an expertise on it, or they're having a guest that's an expertise. But at the same time, yeah, I think I like a mix. I don't like things. I mean, that's because a lot of times I typically am a lot of all business, but I do like a mix. And I also like there's a guy by the name of Cam Fats. He's in the group, and he posted one of his lives more recently. But he kind of starts out, and he'll go a long way around to stuff, and you think like, is this business or anything or marketing related? And then at the end he ties it in, and I like that. And I think we need all different kinds of flavors of people, and everybody's going to resonate with different kinds of people too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I've always told people, I mean, there's a reason that Baskin Robbins started out with 31 flavors because not everybody likes pistachio. You know,
I like pistachio.
they might have
you may like pistachio. I just polished off the last of the Rocky Road last night.
So, no,
I've got an ice cream maker, so we make ice cream at home.
Oh, wow. I haven't done that since like the late 1960s, early 70s.
I haven't used it in quite a while though.
Well, we bought actually the one that has the, you know, because like you're thinking like, or you're probably used to the ones, you know, you got ice, then you got your rock salt.
Crank. Yeah, we're doing a crank. We're cranking that sucker.
No, we have one that has a freezer built in, everything like that, where you put in the mix. And
that just seems so lazy.
It is, but it's very effective.
It's efficient. It's effective.
Yeah, there's reason behind it because for me, I actually have a few food allergies. And so one of my treats that I can do is a coconut-based ice cream. So, for me, I have to do a lot of cooking. Like it's like all scratch. So if I can take and get a device that, can make things easier, then that's why. Or else I probably would have a hand one and do it with the kids and stuff like that. But I get the kids involved where, what should we put in this one? What do you guys want for the one we're doing for you? And
I still remember the one time many years ago we were at my grandparents' cottage way out in about 30 miles out of Buffalo, and we were cranking, and it turned out the brine the rock salt had leaked into the container and spoiled the whole ice cream after all of it. That was horrible. Such a sad ice cream memory.
Wow.
Well, you might have started a thing, because now it's the thing they call salted caramel.
Right. Well, that was probably it.
You were missing the caramel. There was too much salt, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Way too much salt. I mean, it was a sad day.
And speaking of salt, I was supposed to make sauerkraut this week, and I couldn't.
You still haven't made it. You've been promising me this recipe.
Couldn't get cabbage.
You couldn't get cabbage.
And I couldn't get cabbage.
Why don't you tell your local butcher shop where the lines were out the door to stock some cabbage so you can drop off? Nobody's going to want that.
Very disappointing.
I do a fermented. Well, it's actually more pickled with the slash kind of fermented one. It's called cortito, and it uses cabbage, and it's from El Salvador.
Oh,
and they use it on a dish. Well, I learned about it because they use it on a dish that I like as well, and it's pupusas.
I know pupusas very well because where my office used to be in Maryland, there were several pupuserias around town because that huge El Salvadoran, I think it's like the largest populations of El Salvadorans outside of El Salvador are in LA and Washington, D.C.
Wow. Well, I'm expecting a recipe. So
yeah, the pupusas.
Better dig that out.
And so that cabbage stuff you put on it,
yeah.
That's called cortito.
Cortito.
Yep.
With a T or a D?
Well,
it's Curtido, I think is how it's spelled.
If you can believe it, I was once a cabbage farmer.
You were once a cabbage farmer?
I was a cabbage farmer.
So you had a Cabbage Patch.
I was going to say, are you the inspiration for the original Cabbage Patch doll?
Big butt Cabbage Patch, Belly.
Yeah.
It's huge, like 20 acres of cabbage we used to grow.
20 acres of cabbage.
That's a lot of cabbage. Let me tell you. That's a lot of cabbage.
A lot of cabbage.
So we used to
there's a certain
cabbage.
Yeah, so there's a certain irony that you cannot find cabbage.
There is a certain irony that it is kind of the wrong season for growing it.
True, where you are
in the north, where I am.
I think they're actually harvesting cabbage here now.
They probably are. Yeah, usually California and Florida, they'd be harvesting cabbage right now.
Mm-hmm.
You get the summer season.
Do you want me to send you one like FedEx or?
It's okay.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll show up eventually.
Sure,
like everything else. It's just a matter of timing, Just a matter of timing. It'll be all good.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the distribution channels and how they are in certain areas, because some areas are showing their toilet paper being restocked, and other places it's out still.
Right.
Hey Troy, since you're the expert in email as a distribution channel, can you?
Hey, I gotta go. Nice talking to you guys.
Can you email him a cabbage?
No.
You
can't email.
Well, I think what we can do is experiment. I can try with a photo.
Yeah, just send him a photo of a cabbage. He can drool. He can just drool over.
Or should I do an insult to injury and go to my local supermarket and get a picture of myself with cabbage?
With a cabbage.
There you go. It's so funny though, because usually the shortcut I take, right? Because I have tremors. So for me, it's because Dr. V's asking me the other thing, because what, you don't shred your own cabbage? I said, well, if I want to cut my fingers off, yeah, but then that adds.
I didn't realize that. I mean, I did the ultimate
like fingers. So I usually go buy shredded cabbage. So I go in the other day to Sam's Club, figuring, no problem. They've always got tons of it. Every box of shredded cabbage, empty.
Wow.
You mean they emptied the boxes out of the shredded cabbage and just left the empty boxes there?
They left the empty boxes there. So
no
I'm like,
way.
There's a stack of empty boxes. They were once shredded cabbage. It's hysterical. You can't make this stuff up. This is it's unprecedented.
You can't make it up without cabbage.
Kind of stuff. Yeah. No, it's just It's weird.
But any other tips, Troy, about your work habits to make life efficient in the home office?
Well, if you really want to get technical about it,
Yeah.
I do believe that time is money, and a lot of people do use that phrase, and I don't think they
Sorry.
actually live by it, because you can make more money, but you can't make more time.
That's correct. Yeah, that's the one resource you can't get more of is time.
So I do believe in automation, both as in web services and also on your own computer. There are various different tools, both Mac and PC. I'm a Mac user, but I also, again, use, like I said, I mentioned, I think on one of the other streams, I use both, but I mainly use the Mac side.
So what are your favorite productivity apps on the Mac side?
Well, I use Keyboard Maestro for doing a lot of macros and that type of thing.
Okay.
And so if I can set something up to help me be more productive using that, I do that. And there's a lot of different people that use it, for example, and I just barely got it because, again, this is a new Mac, so I hadn't gotten it yet, and I was like, okay, that's on my list to get. And so the virus thing was a really good time to, hey, let's bust this out and start looking at it. But you're able to do different things, like you even talked about, turn off your messages when you're being productive.
Right.
So with Keyboard Maestro, if it's a particular time, or you can even just set a macro where you press whatever particular button you've set it to, and it'll turn off all your notifications, everything, all things like that. And you can even have it set so it'll turn off for, an hour, or for just however you want it to be. Right. And so that, and, literally the fact that it goes through and it turns off this app, and it does this one to this app, and this one to this app, and this one to this app, and it'll make a post to somewhere, all these different things that you need to do with a press of a button. Now that may save you, like, somebody might say, well, that saved me like 60 seconds. Well, literally time is money. And once that 60 seconds is gone, it's gone. And then I'll go to the other extreme of some people like, well, how much is that 60 seconds really worth? And blah, 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 it's not a big deal.
Well, what's your hourly, and figure out how much that 60 seconds is worth.
Right. And that's what I say too, because I see a lot of people will talk about, and this is just an example, but like, mowing their lawn. And I'm like, well, I understand for some people it's therapeutic. And so I get that. So that, things that are therapeutic, when we need those. So I get that. But if it's not something that's, say, therapeutic, in this specific case, say like mowing your lawn, well, it for most people, depending on what you make, again, per hour, et cetera, it's best to farm that out. Then, have one of the local kids in the neighborhood do it and earn some money, et cetera, and use your time for something else better. And maybe that is for you, just to relax for that hour, what I mean? Or maybe doing something productive in your business. So I look for tools that I can use, again, like I say, that are web services or literally on my computer to help me be more efficient, use my time more wisely. Because, again, once time is gone, it's gone. But the money can be made up, or more money can be made. So I look at those kind of things, and there's various different tools, different there's more actually options on the Windows side for either macros or bots and that kind of thing to do processes and things for you than there are on the Mac. But I do use that. In fact, I also recently added to my repertoire, both for streaming. It's the Stream Deck.
Stream Deck. What is that?
Oh, amateurs now.
Well, I'm definitely an amateur.
So this one right here, Be Live.
Oh.
So when I press this button here, it'll actually launch my browser.
Oh.
It will click my so it'll launch me into Be Live.
Oh.
And then click all the buttons to have me go live automatically right into my live events group.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
And so while it is, maybe a few seconds to do the buttons and all that kind of stuff like that to set it up, but now every time I have that leverage by just pressing a button.
Oh, one touch.
And, one touch, and that gets me up and going live. And then, and there's some other ones that I'm working on programming that to do, but that's a device that works both on Mac and PC. And it also has a lot of things built in already. So like it'll work with OBS for streaming, et cetera, et cetera. I'm using et cetera a lot.
Et cetera, et cetera, and et cetera.
Right. And that's spelled ETC for those people who keep on spelling it ECT.
No, ECT is electroconvulsive therapy.
Or it's ectetra. But so that's what I like to do for my time. I mean, that's kind of my computer nerd in me, coming out. Just I love like automation things. I see it as my brother used to joke about this for years until he saw me being successful online. But I would always talk about that's leverage,
Yeah, leverage.
And I would always so then he used to joke with me of saying anything I'd bring up, he's like, "Well, is that leverage?"
Is that leverage?
And now he actually uses it, and he's like, "Yeah, and that's leverage." So it's kind of funny that it's
rubbing off on him.
It's repetition, key to learning.
Leverage does
rub off. To me, I look at something. Is it leverage? And that's again like what we talked about the other day. Literally, was the distribution channel is leverage.
Sure.
And that's what the live event marketers group is
leverage
for leverage. And I'm going to go live in the group later on tonight to do a group update like I usually do. And one of the things that I'll talk about again is reminding people that not only should you be posting your live events that you'll be doing, your live streams, but it's also to network. You should be looking at people that are live streaming and communicating and talking with them and saying like, hey, are you looking for somebody to be on your live stream? Or if they're having a summit, hey, do you need another speaker or whatever? And it's getting yourself out. It's leverage. You're using the leverage, like we talked again about the other day, of other people that, you have your group that, reach this amount of people, and then they have their group. But then you combine the two, and that kind of thing. And it just expands as you work with other people.
So important with where we are right now, especially.
Yeah. So to me, part of work ethic to me is part of what I'm doing on my daily basis of work. Is it leveraging my time? So am I looking to work with other people? And I know that a lot of people, especially when you get big, kind of big out there and you're and named and stuff, they stop kind of doing that. And I don't know, I guess for me, I always look at like, never stop doing that. Even if you shrink it down to, like you're doing it this, this much, always do it, because you always need to continue to grow your audience. I mean, that's just kind of me. I don't know I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I always just think always be reaching out and always trying to keep growing that, because there's people that fall off. That's how I see it. So you need to kind of keep. My dad taught me about this. He used to be a financial advisor with Merrill Lynch, and he always talked about when he started, that he was doing cold calling. He thought of it like as a pipe. So he would do these cold calls, and he's like, you got to stuff people in the pipe, and eventually some fall out the other side. And so that's how I think about it just all the time is I'm needing to stuff people in. And, and again, some people might not resonate with my message in the beginning, and then later on they do. And then some people just never will. But it's a numbers game. So I just like to keep stuffing that pipe with people.
It is.
To actually really, and not to think of them as numbers, but I want to find those people that I resonate with. And that's what everybody else should be doing too, is find the people that you resonate with. And it's a numbers game. And leverage is what you need to shorten your time frame in getting that number, that magical number that you want to have for the, people call it the magic 100 or 1,000.
Your 1,000, your 1,000, the list of 1,000 buyers.
Right.
Yeah.
So
well, I think, and that's pretty significant, because you won't resonate with absolutely everyone. And the other thing is, sometimes I've had this happen before where I've couldn't help a person, but I sent them to somebody who could, and they never forget that.
Absolutely. Yes. That's a very good point. And that's what I think is really good too, because what that does is it helps you then build your standing with that other person you referred them to. And then that has almost like that reciprocity. Not that you should do it just for that, but it
No.
happens naturally. You know what I mean? Like, you should want to help out other people, and then later on, you never know. And sometimes there's, you never have to call in a favor, or even
Right.
you're never going to need them to reciprocate back and whatnot. But you never know when you will. Like, for example,
Well,
you guys, with my group, I'm building out some future things, and I will have you guys that I'll reach out to and say, hey, here's how I'd like you guys to participate, but it also helps you guys as well.
Well, and I think you just keep achieving or maintain that top of the mind awareness. If you keep seeing somebody all the time and you know that they are helpful to other people without necessarily expecting something in return, you get all those warm fuzzies, and somebody's bound to cash those in at some point.
Exactly. Notice how I set this all up so nice, because I know how much Troy likes to talk with his hands.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was all trying to fill in the
I
box.
know. I'm watching you. I said, I got to give you some room to move, man. It's all good.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I need to spread my wings now and just fly.
Yeah. But no, it's true. I mean, we keep reaching out. We keep packing the pipe. And the other thing too, we spend a lot of time with, especially with video, is the more we do these lives, the more that we're not just attracting anybody, but we're really attracting the people that sync with us best. It's not like we're doing it without a purpose.
This isn't like some sort of a boat with a leak and they're going to sink with us.
No,
Oh, good. Thank God. So
we have to think of this in a good way.
oh, okay.
We actually know that. Oh, we like these guys. We want to do something with them.
They're okay.
Yet, but we're gonna do
They're
something.
okay. Yeah, they're okay in my book.
That's
And-
why.
And by the way, Dr. V, I do know you're Dr. V now.
I've always been Dr. V.
No, but remember how you were the
you-
Dr. C?
You made me Dr. C, and I thought you were just speaking Spanish. Dr. C?
See,
Or you were trying to see me. I don't know what you was.
Dr. C?
No, sí, claro que sí.
Actually talking about those pupusas makes me hungry. There's
So you have to leave us for the pupuseria?
Well, actually, I haven't got anything from them since the virus thing started like that, but I'm hoping they're still open. I mean, I'm because what we normally do, we would go down there to eat, and kind of thing like that, to get out of the house and that kind of thing. And because again, I run all my stuff from home.
Mm-hmm.
My wife works at her salon 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
But so she's kind of gets out. So it's kind of funny. So she gets home and she kind of wants to stay home, and I'm like, I need to get out.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I'm wondering, and then I mean, there's the occasion that we did go ahead and pre-order and then brought it home and ate. But I'm hoping that they're open, because I'm like now having a craving for that, and I know how to make them.
Yeah.
But that's one I haven't done enough to where how you get like I'm close, but I don't have like that exact feel kind of thing.
yeah.
And so so that I always end up just getting them from there. But yeah.
Yeah, we had my wife gave us a gift, which was a sushi making class, but we have yet to figure out when that class is going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with all of this. Sure. I had to laugh when you first said that, though. When we were talking about that, Terry, who had been watching us, she goes, "There's plenty of cabbage in Corpus Christi, but still no toilet paper for 3.5 weeks."
Oh boy.
So
Yeah, but too much cabbage really means that you probably will be required to have more toilet paper.
possibly.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
the interesting
possible.
thing that you mentioned Terry. So now Terry's a good friend, and she goes way back to my days in high school.
Wow.
And I used to live in Newport, Rhode Island,
Mhm.
and it's a big tourist town. So during the summertime, we would break dance
Mhm.
and make money,
Oh,
and
my.
we'd from the tourists, and so we'd buy like new batteries and new songs and sodas and things like that, right? Well, I met Terry. She was working down at her uncle's ice cream shop in Newport, and she lives in Texas right now, and she's actually a good baker, and she's been doing a lot of baking and selling those from her home bakery. But she goes way back, so it's kind of interesting. She's commenting, and we talked about ice cream earlier and
Yes.
all that kind of stuff. So,
All the goodies.
It's funny you should mention that, because as we've been going along, I had somebody who I went to school with from high school who was following us one day, and we had this big conversation with her about, she's a teacher down in Alabama and what was going on, and they're using virtual classrooms. And then I just connected up with a friend of mine again last week, that I went to school with in my youth, who lived right up the street with me in Kendall, New York. So it's funny too, like the stuff that's going on, like right now, we're reconnecting with a lot of people. They're seeing us like this and going, wow, this is pretty cool. And how you doing all of this? And it's interesting how things come together.
Yeah, people will start asking questions.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I think also, like, as bit by bit, as people start either attending live streams or actually, hey, I'm going to try this. After this is all done, it's going to be like more comfortable, and so I think we're going to see more and more of it. And in fact, I know that some people have been doing live streams about live streams, have been talking about certain equipment, like their cameras and stuff that they're using.
Right.
And then they're like, well, Amazon's out right now, and et cetera, et cetera. So there goes my et cetera again.
Well, but they do have, et cetera, et cetera.
Sponsored by et cetera today.
You should buy shares in et cetera.
I should. I don't know why I'm on that.
Yeah,
live stream that does it to me with these keyword kicks or word kicks. I don't know.
We've been talking a lot about live streaming as we've gone on because, I've got the 30-day challenge going on. Dr. V is getting back into live streaming.
Last time I was doing live streaming, really, it was the old Google Plus, the Google Hangout days. Actually.
Right.
Well, since I know that we're streaming this also into the Live Event Marketers group.
Yeah.
John, why don't you give some more info on the 30-day challenge?
Oh, yeah.
I've posted the link a few times, and I've even talked about it in my live updates. So I'll talk about updates.
That's cool.
Tonight as well.
Appreciate that.
I want people to just get in, even if it's already started. You know what I mean? Like, just
There's
get in.
always time. Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. In fact, we've been off to kind of a slower start than usual because of the longer time frame. And it's really about giving people a safe space to do their lives and get feedback.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the
and it tends to be small group interaction. And since you're not going public, you do have that the sense of you're with a bunch of friends just having conversations and honing your skills.
Exactly. And it works out awesome like that. A great time to be doing that.
Yeah. So like I said, I've been mentioning it, and I'll do another shout out to it tonight when I do my live group.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. We've also got another interesting group that's called Local Marketing Strategies for Entrepreneurs and Small Businesses, where we've been talking about marketing strategies, and live has been a little bit of a part of that too. So we get a couple different groups, but the 30-day live one is, of course, near and dear to my heart.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of local stuff, I just did I think mine went over a little bit over 10 minutes. So, but he's doing 10-minute chunks with different marketers with different expertise. And his name, Rasco, he's in a Calderon in the Live Event Marketers group.
Okay.
He's going to be doing, he's going to be making those available here shortly. And they're about strategies that people can implement, again, like I said, for their local business on getting, on more business, getting more business, and how to market during these times. So I'll be doing a post on that. And I think we might even be doing a live in the Live Event Marketers group announcing it. That, when that becomes live. So that might be something you might want to mention in your group as well, because they're just more like short snippets on a particular like strategy from somebody that does, like somebody does copywriting, and somebody that does, Facebook Live, somebody that does, distribution channels, and that, all the different stuff like that. And like I say, they're just small snippets that people can take and implement.
Sure.
Cool.
So if you go and you see this face and you look up 30-day live video challenge, hop in.
That face.
That face. Right down there.
Wait, let me type that.
I get so confused here like this.
Actually, that's not too bad. That's better than some of the stuff. Some of the stuff you've thrown up before just was a whole sequence of letters and words and just incomprehensible code.
Kind of, sort of. But anyways, yeah. So do look that up on Facebook, and we'd love to have more people getting involved with that. I think the toughest thing, when you start with live video, is just having a safe space to practice, because most people try doing a group of their own or a page of their own that nobody else is on, And sometimes it's not the best way to do it because then you have to go and change out of that mode. And sometimes that doesn't work so great. I've seen a lot of people get screwed up with that. So this
And
is
I do, and I do think the format where you have more than one person in a live makes it so much easier.
Oh yeah, yeah.
so much
There's
easier.
no doubt.
Much easier.
It's hard to be critical on yourself when you have more than one person because you're not just stuck in your own head.
Right. And believe me, we can all get stuck in our own head.
Yeah.
All too easy. Yeah, you can.
I've been stuck in it all my life, so
I know. Me too.
It's the voices in my.
Well, and you know,
I am never alone.
that's the funny thing with most people when they get started, they're their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Because we'll be there and we'll be like, oh, you know, I don't like the way I sound, or I don't feel like I come across right, or I don't like something about the way I look. And all of those things are what attracts your perfect audience to you. It's like whatever
Not just
resonating is what's attracting.
Yeah, but there is a difference in terms of your inner ear, how you sound to yourself versus how the rest of the world sounds. I mean, you sound to the rest of the world. So
Right.
there are some significant differences that our own perception of ourselves is way off.
Right. But that's in your mind. It's
Yeah.
not reality. So the reality is that you're meant to speak and you're there for somebody to hear you. So go speak and let somebody hear you because it's important. You've got an important message for somebody out there.
I'm meant to speak, roll over, and occasionally play dead.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Some people like that.
I
We get you a little rubber toy too.
Great. Where's my squeak? I do have a toy. It's not a squeaky toy, but it was given to me as a gift. And it's a squishy thing that says boss on it. It looks almost like a gingerbread man. And you can just squeeze and his head almost pops.
Nice.
It's so cool. It's supposed to be a stress reliever.
yeah.
We've been watching back episodes of Northwood's Law.
Northwood's Law.
Which is kind of fun. I kind of enjoy that. Learn about all.
It's because you live in the Northwoods.
It's the wildlife officers.
Oh.
Going through their daily duties up here in Maine and New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So
he's also looking at how to avoid the law. He's looking at them like through surveillance cameras through a show.
Surveillance camera.
No, but it's
Did they ever?
The place we were actually going to go. We're planning for later in the summer. We were going to go up and go four-wheeling at Mount Jericho, which is up north here in New Hampshire. It's a beautiful place, and it's a huge event. And what we learned is that there's all these speed traps and all these places you're not supposed to go. And so that's huge. I mean, I don't want to go, and the first thing I do is get a ticket. So it's kind of valuable. Actually.
Last thing you want to do.
Yeah, it's the last thing I want to have happen.
Not the first, but the last. Yeah.
What's the first thing you want to do?
Just get there.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah. So we've been watching a little of that because it was something we'd planned. But it's kind of fun.
Yeah, do they ever arrest raccoons or something like that? I just want to see them taken away.
Oh yeah, they take them away all the time.
Oh, okay.
Raccoons, bears, all kinds of things.
They arrest bears?
It's fun to watch. They trank them and take them
they
out.
trank them and tank them.
We actually have a lot of problems with that in some big neighborhoods, like Manchester's. I think Manchester's our largest city, and there's a lot of bears that sneak into the neighborhood areas of like Manchester.
There goes the neighborhood.
We trank them and take them out to a place that's a little more remote because they don't want them in the city. And people feed them, and so it become a problem.
That's what I was going to ask, if people fed them or if they were just encroaching, you know what I mean? But it's probably more like people are feeding
a little bit of both. It's like, I think they are kind of encroaching, but they're encroaching because they're looking for food.
Right.
And then they find people's garbage cans and all of that stuff, and it ends up being a problem.
It's like when people feed deer.
It's everything. Animals are wild. They're not meant to be fed. They're not meant to be coddled and taken care of. We had this time we went up to Cannon Mountain, which is a big ski area, hiking area here. And it's actually right next to the Old Man of the Mountain, which is the face of all of our stuff in New Hampshire that you see. And we had a bear that was like around us on the picnic table, and people were feeding it. And then next thing you know, it wouldn't go away. And then the game officers had to come and take it away, and it wasn't pretty. So that kind of stuff happens.
We have deer that comes off the mountain because we're like, you walk out my front door and you just start walking east, and probably about 100 feet, you're heading up the mountain already.
Mhm.
So we have deer come down all the time, and so you've learned to plant what you can plant, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Because, but it's interesting. It's really interesting each year. Sometimes I'll see them, like at times you're like, what are they even doing down here? And other times you're like, why aren't they down yet?
Right.
I just remember planting rosemary as much as I could, as many plants, just because the deer absolutely hated the rosemary oil on their fur.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and people will do that as well. They'll do the preventative kind of stuff around their. Yeah.
Yeah, we've
I
had
had
a lot
to protect cherry trees in DC from the deer coming in from the park, because I had a place with a fence next to a park, and they would just hop the fence all the time, and they kept chewing the branches of the cherry trees, and the only one that they didn't was the one that had rosemary around it. So that was a lesson learned.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you guys as a quick tech question before I head out.
Yeah.
So are you using, I know you're using StreamYard.
Yes.
And then do you use StreamYard to stream it to the other locations, or are you using Restream or another service, or how do you have that?
StreamYard to stream it everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've got the multi-stream version. I can go 5 different places. Right now I'm going 4.
Okay. Because I know like Restream has a deal. Right now it's 30% off.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been debating, but also, like I say, I've been liking the way StreamYard is.
Well, and Restream is part of StreamYard.
Right, but what
company?
Well, but I mean, if you already have 5 built in, I mean, is that enough? Because then you need to throw the added cost of Restream on top of it if 5 is enough for you, kind of thing.
Has been so far.
I think 5's enough for most people.
Yeah, although it would be kind of nice to be able to stream. I was saying to you earlier, the one thing I haven't quite figured out that's a little bit difficult is trying to figure out how to go back now and fix it. Like originally, it would have been easy for me to add your group and other groups, and I didn't, and now it's almost like I got to completely delete everything to go back and fix it, which to me is a little bit of it's not really a great scenario. Right. Plus, if you belong to a lot of groups, you have to go through a list of every group that you belong to and check off the ones that you want to stream into at first. Now, I'm not going to go streaming into other people's groups unless obviously, like you told me I could.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, I mean, that makes sense. But now I've got to go and delete everything and go back and reset everything. It's just a little bit of a pain, but I think I'm going to end up having to do it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, me using Be Live, and then my experience with StreamYard as an attendee.
Yeah.
I've really liked StreamYard. Now, the reason why I've stuck with Be Live is because I have a lifetime deal on that.
Mm-hmm.
That will encourage you.
Yeah, I know.
Have backup anyways.
But I get so much listen, this almost sounds like a StreamYard commercial, but I mean, so today, my wife is on the live that she's attending. I didn't shut anything down on my computer, and I'm coming through just awesome. But I know if I did that with Be Live, I'd already it shows me the bars in the corner. It would show that I'm getting less, and then I would go look at the eventual stream that it generated, and then you could tell in those parts where it's gotten less. And so, and like I say, it seems to be that StreamYard's algorithm of how their coding has to be more efficient and faster, or they're throwing more servers, or a combination of both.
Yeah, somehow it's using. I think Be Live in some weird way is using more of your resources. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Plus, ideally, I think in every case, I'd like to at least be able to stream in 2 places.
Yeah.
At least to my personal profile or Facebook page.
Yeah.
And YouTube.
Yeah.
And I can't do that with Be Live. No, I said one of the other, but usually you're right. I am doing 3 for the most part.
Minimum, I think yours is 3.
Yeah, I am doing 3, but at least 2.
Yeah.
I want to go to at least 2. And I can't do that with anybody else. Except for the only other person. The only other
OBS
I can do that would be Crowdcast.
Oh, Crowdcast. Okay.
Crowdcast, I can do that too.
Okay.
But so at least use StreamYard and Crowdcast. OBS.
But it is really good to have a backup, though.
OBS.
At least one or two backups. So
Yeah.
Live lets you do either YouTube or Facebook.
yeah.
But it's one or
One
the
or
other.
the other.
Yeah.
And Zoom like that too, one or the other.
But Ecamm Live, I need to play with a little bit more because that has some toys and tools that I kind of like.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, now you're going to get me on a rant.
Against Ecamm?
Talk about Ecamm.
Oh, okay.
Okay, first off, from everybody that's used it and what I've seen of it, great product.
It is.
Yeah.
However, I recall when it was just a product and you paid once.
Right.
Oh.
And then I'm so tired of. Okay, let me relax for a minute.
Subscription model.
Subscription models when they do not need to be subscription models. However, as a former programmer myself, I understand it, but I really don't like it though, because so many have turned into subscription models when they're not really needed to be, and meaning that there's no value for the customer. But I understand. Here's what's happened. Here's how I view it. The world has gotten so stretched so thin, and they do not know how to market to reach their people. So then they make the people that do find them basically pay their bills,
right?
Which to me is unfair to the customer, to make it a service when it really shouldn't be a service,
right?
And yet I feel for them as wanting them to keep their business running. I get that.
I mean, I get a little nervous if somebody creates a very inexpensive one-time offer for a lifetime and there's no plan to have a subscription model after it.
Oh, okay, well that's a separate topic. So a lifetime deal, I understand what you're saying. Where it can make you nervous.
Yeah.
If their plan isn't to then roll into normal. Okay, we're getting people to talk about us, use us, et cetera, et cetera. And now they're rolling into a subscription model. But I'm referring to software or services that were a more of software that was not. It was a one-time purchase with their normal upgrades or updates. So you paid for updates. So you got like a year, then you paid for an update if you wanted other features.
Right.
But what I'm seeing is too many companies being lazy and just going into a subscription model because they can.
Yep.
And what else? What are you offering?
Right.
You're the same thing that I had as a one-time fee.
Right.
And now I pay monthly or whatever, or whatever their model is, every 6 months and whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. And there's some services that to this day are not a recurring platform.
Right.
I go in and they're like, okay, now your maintenance plan is up. Because like on some of them, I'll get the maintenance plan, which is cheaper. It's smart. And I'm thinking, for example, say like Camtasia and Snagit. Yeah,
I have ScreenFlow, but I just stick with a lower edition. I have not upgraded in a couple of years.
Yeah, and in fact, I also have ScreenFlow, and it got to the point where and I even saw people talking about it that it was it was time for an update and to pay for it, and people were like, "Why? It really didn't make any sense." So
if it works, if the old version works, why change it?
It works.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, you don't now there's another tangent of for you to get to me when I did software way back in the beginning. I had a piece of software that I had sold. Well, I actually gave it away for free. Then there was some other stuff that was paid, but the way I did is I tracked that if somebody had bought it, or this is the way that I think it should be tracked, is if somebody bought it and then later on they have a bug that's fixed, but it still really should have been working on their paid version, that they get that update free, and not go, well, in order to get that fixed, that should have been working because it was a feature that was in the software when you bought it. And I don't see that happening because it takes extra work for that to be made into a process. And most companies are like, look, we fixed this bug, and if you want it, it's part of the update or whatever. You have to pay for the update.
That just seems. I mean, that just seems a little bizarre. Like the bug is a feature.
Well, I mean, it was when I say by features, it's part of the feature set. So in other words,
okay.
it should have been working, but then there might have been an issue. There was a bug with it in a sense that it worked, but in some cases it might have caused an issue. So now it's officially fully fixed. Well, why do I need to pay for that when I already paid for it? It should have been part of my paid.
Yeah.
And that's my viewpoint of software.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
I prefer the to have updates and fixing this bug, or we've improved the video processing, or the sound card. The sound card is now more efficient for using this, and not have to pay for that. So
Right, that I understand.
yeah,
But something that was supposed to be working that's not working.
that's weird.
Yeah, that's just not
I would think that you'd want that to be fixed immediately if you expect to get any good reviews on your software package.
Well, it is like sometimes if you got a good enough following, you don't care. I mean, you just do what you know what I mean?
It's it differently.
Yeah.
That's a big mistake in business if you have a following that's big enough that you don't care. So
hey,
some people get away with
that's
it.
how people will pick you off.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, for example, if you look at like Adobe, how they went to a subscription model,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and people that are like stuck with Adobe, like meaning like they're really dependent upon it because they know it, they use it, everybody uses it within the company, and they use, not only like Photoshop, but some of the other products and stuff.
XD now, yeah.
Yeah. And so with the Mac side, I know, well, actually they released it for both Windows and Mac, but it's the Affinity group of products. So like Affinity does both their Photoshop replacement. So it's Affinity Photo, they do Affinity Design, and Affinity, let me pull them up here. So it's Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and Affinity Publisher. And they're actually a one-off price, and they're not charging for updates at all. Now they may change that at some point, where you're now grandfathered in and stuff like that. Because like I want to say, well, I won't go down this little bit of rabbit hole. However, I will say back to what you said about if you do lifetime deals, how can you survive?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do know that Josh Bartlett has talked, or that topic came up with him for his Thrive cart.
Right.
And there was a discussion that people talk about. Again, you can make a model out of lifetime deal, meaning like forever, and it still work. However, then you do get people that, you'll get people that'll make comments of like, well, like I got the deal, and you said you were going to go to, a paid subscription and blah, blah, blah. And now I feel like now you keep extending it, whatever. I'm like, well, and I know people said that about like Thrivecart, but I'm like, well, what does it matter? All I really care about is that the software works,
right,
and it's going to remain working. But I've read some threads and say some threads about the lifetime deal model working and as a model itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are ways that some companies go about it in the sense that, or what I've seen so far, because I haven't followed somebody for like, okay, they've been doing it for 9 years, then all of a sudden on the 10th year they went to subscription or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But what they'll do is they'll do a lifetime deal. So for example, like AppSumo, they'll do where they did a lifetime deal and it contained XYZ.
Yeah.
Well, they come back, say like a year later or something, but their deal is different though. So now you may get X and Y, and then maybe they've added another feature and you'll get that, but you don't get Z at all. Right. Or it's a little bit of Z. So in other words, like it only works with 1,000 contacts versus the other one that was 5,000. Right. So that to me is a different product offering. And again, if it works, for them, then I don't really have a problem with that. But so yeah, there's different models and kind of.
Well, and I've seen that it's interesting in the digital course industry, people creating these business opportunity courses or their courses to how to master a particular thing like social media or Facebook ads or YouTube ads or what have you. And then they reach a time when there's so many updates happening that they switch from a course model into a subscription model. So it becomes a membership as opposed to a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that makes more sense to me in something that's rapidly changing.
Oh, it does to me as well. I do see a lot of stuff that that they do listed as a lifetime membership, and I'm like, you're going to get burned out.
Yeah.
And the degree or the number of people coming in your door is probably going to, you're going to have that big influx, or from your launch kind of thing, and then it's going to shrink down to a smaller amount that you're going to lose that endorphin rush of like, I've got all this cash flow coming in. But I think, what this is what I tell people when I see people say that they're going to do a lifetime membership, or they have a lifetime membership. I always tell them, now, I will state with an asterisk right now, talk to a lawyer, consult a lawyer.
Mhm.
However, you need to have something like this. When you say lifetime membership, you need to have something in your terms where it says that, what that means, for example, is, 2 years, or, if the site shuts down, it ends the membership, blah, 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 whatever, because you can have,
or if you die, is it my lifetime?
right. Because you can have some weirdo that comes back and says like, well, hey, I was only in for a year, and maybe you ran the site for 5 years. They came in on your last year, and you're just like, I'm kind of done, and maybe there's a lot of still relevant content, and you're leaving it up for a while or something like that, and you notified your people or something like, hey, so after this year, I'm going to leave it up for 6 months, and you can all get into it and whatever. But you need to have kind of that exit strategy in your terms, so that somebody doesn't come back and try to say, well, you offered me lifetime, and all I got was whatever.
Right.
It was the lifetime of a fruit fly, is what I was referring to.
Wow. Well, hey, if you have that in your terms, well, then there you go.
That's right. For the lifetime of an average fruit fly. So
yeah.
But
So
I'm looking forward to if you go to your eternal reward, then are you going to offer the afterlife time? So
yes,
probably not.
lifetime. But if you act now, you'll get the afterlife.
Afterlife time guarantee.
The funny thing is, like, I'm extremely sarcastic, and if I follow Dr. V's lead, man, I would be like, this would be 6-hour streams, and we would just be downhill so fast.
I live in my stream of consciousness.
Well, what's funny is had I known I was going on today, I would wear my shirt. It says, I speak fluent sarcasm.
It's always good when you wear your shirt.
Well, my shirt that
specific shirt. Oh, yes, okay.
Yes.
Then everybody knows what's coming. Hey,
so my last comment then is, where I wear no shirt is a different kind of stream that I do.
Ooh.
Sarcasm.
Is that pay-per-view?
It's a lifetime deal.
It's a lifetime deal.
Yeah, I see.
So anyway,
deal with it.
So on that note, we've been on for an hour and almost 20 minutes.
That's actually a lot longer than we had planned. This is almost like the Eric Louvier show too.
It is. It is. We have this tendency to go over a little bit at times, but it's good. We had good conversation about stuff today.
Good conversation. We got a lot of things covered.
We did.
And fortunately, we kept Troy covered because he kept his shirt on.
We did. It was great of you to pop in because it was fun having you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was great. We got my sister to push the button and finally get in there and produce some sound, and then the camera went crazy.
You guys want to say bye to the audience? I'll wrap it up, and we can still continue here for a minute.
Goodbye, audience.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Audience.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.